Good morning. Here we are at Central.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. Um, a lot of things going on don't seem very beautiful right now, but we're going to try to keep being the church. And we're all being challenged. And first of all, I just want everyone that's listening to this to know how much we have spent energy thinking about where all of you are at, what you're facing, the changing dynamics of home, of work, of health, and a lot of what we've been doing is trying to pray our way into
Really? Yeah.
what people are feeling, experiencing. And then that prayerfulness, I think, has called us into action. And one thing we were very committed to doing, most of you that are hearing this obviously are capable of having virtual communication with us. We still have a number of people that depend on the written word, so we're doing something right now.
I just got on the phone with a couple of our members who, they don't email, they don't do anything online, but they're still connected, and they love the phone call, and this week we did a special jot and tittle with a message from Rob. Some of you may have gotten that digitally already. It's also going out in mail. It should be in folks' mailboxes by tomorrow or Saturday. So we're trying to do our best to get out there.
And we're going to be doing that with a little more regularity than we've been doing over the past months.
Absolutely.
Say a word about our staff and how we're managing our work.
Yeah. So as many of you have seen, there's a stay in here ordinance that'll be going to effect at 8 o'clock tonight, or 8 o'clock Thursday night, which is when we're videoing this. And our staff's working remotely, but working really hard. One of the things that we want to make sure doesn't happen is that in the midst of social distancing, we don't become socially isolated. And so please know that there are hangout times for youth and children that are coming out. There are hangout times for parents. I think Patrick, one of our members sent in this idea, and Patrick's going to start doing trivia on second and fourth Mondays, just as a time for us to be together. So please look at our resources online and let us know. We need to hear from you. If you have trouble connecting, if you need some help, or if you know someone that isn't able to get that. But do know, starting effective immediately, our staff is all working remotely.
One thing I think some of you may need, and this would not necessarily be limited to the persons that we call homebound members.
Right.
A lot of our homebound members are wonderful places like Givens or Deerfield, and the support system for their food, pharmaceutical needs is covered. There are a lot of members of our church that you're at that age group that really, what I'm at, that we're not supposed to be going into a lot of stores or into the grocery store any more than we have to. So what we would like to do, if it would be helpful to you to have your prescriptions or some food delivered, we have some people that have stepped up and said they would do that. So let us know. You can let me know, Lisa know.
Email me or call the church office. We'll still be able to get our voicemails. We're still getting our emails. Folks are still working and working hard to try to make sure that we're connected.
Yeah.
And please reach out if what Rob just mentioned would be helpful for you. This is a lot about choices we make and how we make choices.
Last week I said this during this preview. I said sometimes we don't choose sermons as much as they choose us.
Yeah.
And following McLaren's outline, last week was on worry, this week is choices. And what we're talking about right now is choices we have made as a church. Say a word about how you feel about that.
So I think like a lot of you, like you start out, Rob, this whole experience is a wave. And there are moments of immense gratitude for the choices that we're making to be distant while not being isolated. And then there's moments where I'm sad that I can't see people in person. We're incarnational. And thankful that we're part of a church that's trying to do our very best to be together. So We heard from our bishop, our resident bishop, Bishop Leland, this week, that we will not have in-person worship services indefinitely. We're going to be following the CDC rules. So until that's been lifted, where folks can gather, we won't be having worship in person, but we'll be worshiping virtually.
Right. So we're working really hard to make sure those worship moments are meaningful, and that we'll still have music, and we'll have prayers, and we'll have preaching. Say a word, Luke, about, there was something we were talking about this morning, a scripture that came to mind to you.
So we were doing morning prayer this morning, and we read out of Mark 9. And at the end of Mark 9, Jesus is with the disciples, and he foretells his death and resurrection. And in true disciple fashion, they don't get it. and that's the way it is for us sometimes. And I really resonate with the disciples at times. But and they begin to ask, like, who's going to be the greatest? And then they say, well, there's this person that's casting out demons in your name, and you know, should we tell him to stop? And Jesus says, and he ends that passage in Mark and says, whoever gives out a cup of water in my name, I'm with them. And one of the things I began to wonder this morning is how are the ways that we're giving out cups of water? Is there someone that we could call that we hadn't called in a while? Is there a note or a letter that we can write and send via mail? Is there a Zoom call or a FaceTime or that we can reach out to somebody and give what would seem so small, but is that cup of water on a parched day? And we're feeling those parched days right now and need those cups of water.
I'd like to close out this with a blessing and a benediction you have heard me utter so many times before. As the people of Central, as we continue to step into the unknowns of these days, let us know that a living and loving God is at our elbow. The power that is beside us, underneath us, behind us, before us will be great as any challenge ahead of us. May we continue to live in peace with the very peace of Christ.
Amen.